Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and then in the back is our Cabernet Franc. And those are the only three varietals we grow. And it's broken down roughly just over 5 acres Cab Sauv, 5 acres of Merlot, 5 acres of Cabernet Franc. Nice thirds with the traditional Bordeaux. And now the snow line is about where the water tanks are. And so if the vineyard was actually located one bench higher, we would not be able to grow grapes down here. And if it was right down on the water, we wouldn't be able to grow grapes either because the cold air is settling. You get a real nice moderate temperature. And it keeps it cool during the summertime and then warm during the winter. Typically what happens is when we harvest, we will start our harvest in mid to late October on the Merlot matures first, then the Cabernet Sauvignon, then the Cabernet Franc, and we'll have a fully mature fruit with a sugar content of only about 24 to 24.5 bricks, a little bit higher acids and a little bit lower pH. A lot more earth flavors in the wine, not as fruit forward, really a lot of structure on it. And it's nice because especially with the wind machine, I can hang my fruit if I wanted to until almost mid-November. And so I can get nice mature fruit without the higher sugar. And as a winemaker, I've never ever added anything to my must. I've never added water, sugar, acid. Everything is done here in the vineyard. We started it in 1992. And in 92, we started plowing it, and we had temperature gauges all around, temperature and water gauges all around, and we started the construction of the fence. First planting was spring of 94. And one of the things we did was, we did 3-foot spacings, so everything's spaced 3-9. And then we planted our root balls all 30 inches deep. And so every single one of these plants was dug 30 inches deep, which has actually helped us because even though we're so north, we've never really lost anything to frost damage. What you're seeing is the original plantings. We have never gone in and replanted. And my back remembers all 26,000 holes that were dug. I was cursing Bob Wample for his 3-foot spacing when he first came up with the idea, but now looking at it, it's kind of nice because if you do lose a plant here or there, instead of having to go in and retrain it and having this huge empty section, you can just take the one plant over, one plant on the other side, fold it down, and you're not losing your production anymore.
There's some expense that went into this fence, and what's it keeping out?
It's keeping out the wildlife. There are herds of deer, moose, bear, bighorns, cougars. It doesn't really keep the cougars out, but we are surrounded by Mother Nature and wildlife. The lake really regulates it because, to give you an idea, Grand Coulee Dam is 29 miles downriver from where we're at right now. The Spokane River, where the Spokane River comes into the Columbia River, which is the beginning of the Columbia Valley AVA, because this is all part of the Columbia Valley AVA growing region, is about 14 miles upriver from us. Spokane is a very shallow, warm, fast-moving body of water, and it flows into the Columbia. And then with Grand Coulee Dam, you have a body of water that's almost a mile wide. And so with it almost on 3 sides, with Moonshine Bay coming all the way up to there, the river then comes flowing in, turns, and goes alongside the vineyard, then flows north from here, wraps around, and then is on the other side of these cliffs. During the summertime, our cold temperatures are based on what the lake is. And the lake right now is in the mid-50s. It heats up by the end of August, early September. The lake temperature will get up to 75 degrees. And it's nice because my jet ski actually has a temperature gauge, so we know it's 75 degrees. That 75 degrees, it took it all summer to heat up to that, it then takes it months and months and months to cool down from that. And so what happens in October, November, December, there's literally always a fog bank. And I actually win a lot of bets with people because I can predict exactly when the fog will end. And it's consistently always about a mile up canyon from us, because you have this warm lake just pumping out all this warm air, and it's hitting the cold air up top. And you'll come down here and it's literally like a lid has been placed on top of this area. And we've had harvest some years where it's been snowing up top and it's a balmy 45 degrees. And the lake never freezes. The coldest the lake gets is about 39 degrees. And with that warm 39 degree water, it really just regulates. So even in years past, like last year was considered a really cold year, our bud break to bloom to veraison to harvest was 3 days off. And again this year, another really cold spring, our bud break was 2 days off. We go back and we look at the temperature records down here, and with that lake regulating so much of the microclimate, we hardly ever vary from year to year to year. We take our name from Whitestone rock. And one of the cool geological things about Whitestone is it's granite. And yet all the other rock around here is basalt. So you can actually see the old lava flows. And then we've heard everything from the fact that Whitestone's actually the top of an old mountain that was remained that the lava eventually covered. And so when you're here, far side of the lake, the opposite side of the lake is all granite and sandstone. This side of the lake is all basalt. And the soil that we have is a nice sandy loam because this is old riverbed. So you have a nice sandy soil, which the grapes love. And then the basalt, one of the other really cool things about the basalt is it holds the temperature. And again, it's just one of those things that really helps to regulate the temperature around us. Over here is what was once the Pinot Noir block. One of the things we learned about Pinot is it's very susceptible to drift and spray. And so we have to put a more resilient grape in here eventually. But one of the problems about being located in a canyon is the canyons act as almost a vacuum, and they suck anything that's sprayed up top. It is wheat country. It is, this is, Lincoln County is the second largest wheat producing county in the United States. So you are in the middle of wheat country, which is interesting because before Grand Coulee Dam went in, just around the bend was a town called Peach. And you had another town called Plum. This was where the orchards in the state were. On the other side of Whitestone Rock was the largest vineyard west of the Mississippi, and it was the Balfus Vineyard. We actually have a photo of the harvest from 1914, and that was Italian varietal wine grapes. Middle of nowhere, and every direction you look, it's one of the weirdest things because so much when you're touring wine countries and stuff, the vineyards are what make the scenery so beautiful. Here, the vineyard's almost the blight on the land because the scenery is so spectacular.